Hey, well, it's Abe. How you doing? I'm Tomlin's Nyback. This is 365 days towards racial change. We are at day 264. Tomorrow we'll be at the 100-day milestone mark. I might have no little sign for you. I don't know. We're just having fun. We're cruising along now, getting a lot of redundancy in our argument from Dr. Anderson, which is good. We haven't exhausted all of his elements by any stretch of the imagination. But I think in this year we've hit some important high points, been reminded. We've looked at some great fictional work through Uncle Tom's Cabin, and the list goes on ad infinitum. I am, this project has overlapped with some formal education, pursuing my degree in philosophy, and the struggle is real. But together, can we put together another 100 days or so of this? I think we can. No. Like Yoda, do or not do. Let's do. Very important. I know it's been transformative for me. If you've noticed my videos from like day 10, 15, a lot of angst and stuff, because I'm brushing off the feelings, the angst that this black skin and the challenges that comes with it in America. I can't speak authoritatively for other lands, but definitely in America. I've been here a couple decades, so yeah, I think I'm a credible witness on that point. But you'll see those early days, a lot of anger. It's like, oh yeah, finally we got some answers to some issues, and we're moving forward. I'm being releasing burdens, breaking barriers, all kinds of stuff. But then now there's so many facets to the argument. We've looked at it from a lot of sides, mostly from the oppression, interference, homeland terrorism of the majority group, and when we've touched on the responsibilities of black people as well. And I don't want to get too far from that. Today's post is going to be touch on that a little bit. And it's actually going to be probably a short segment, but because what we're going to talk about is it's easy to find, and it touches on some things we've talked about, and it's reiterating some issues on the voting aspect, especially, and I think that's especially important. When this project ends, 2020 presidential race is going to go into full swing, so politics and everything being rightly understood is important. Now, on that point, let's not get too far away from our standard introduction and commentary. Where is the black mind today? At day 264. Welcome new subscribers. I see you. Trust me, I'm going to respond. It's what I do. I'll talk in depth about why that's late coming, but you'll understand. Everybody's got a life to live, and I had no idea what would be the result of this project. Day 264. So listen, the black mind. Where does the black mind stand? Where, is there any interest in this type of subject? Any need for change? Am I off base? Is Dr. Anderson off base with his claims and his assertions and his research and his his historical, factual commentary on the plight of black people in America over the past 400 or 500 years and ongoing. Just saw this young female, black female, one probably might be the first um, cyberspace hate crime case, and she won big. And even one of her persecutors came forward and apologized and promised to leave off from this hate life. Um, right. So it's still, this is today, right? We're not in the early 1500s, just getting the slave institution together. You know, this is after the 60s, after emancipation, after, um, language around hate crimes and stuff like that. You know, after hangings, lynchings, bombings, Jim Crow, 100 years of that, still today. So, black minds, no, we're not going to go hear a video and then go on march on the street. That'd be cool, you know. No, first we got to gather, focus, plan, and then we can make a move. Now, on that note, let's flip the coin, because I always say a word to white folks, white minds. I've got a lot of white friends, you know, um, a lot of supporters. Some know about this project. I don't belabor it or try to push it, because white people have to, go through a process. And that's interesting. I think, even though our racism in this country is ongoing and whatnot, but it's interesting. We're finally seeing the trend now, especially for black folks. Other groups have uh, dovetailed and are riding on the backs of on black efforts to a degree. But it's good to see, like, the system, the institution, taking um, black concerns seriously, especially on hate. You know, and listen, white folks. I know it's not all of you white folks. The extreme hate, um, skinheads, and that extreme white hate of not just blacks, but any not white group. I agree. I'm going to say that I believe that those are a minority of white folks. Majority of white folks don't want to. I mean, think about that. White folks already have a lot of responsibility. You know, they they happen to be on a privileged side of life. But then I think, like, I'm established, and you want me to slice out a part of my time and a part of my life to go hate another group. That's that's the insanity of bigotry and hatred. You know, it's coming from people in a place that are unobstructed from world national domination. Yet they gotta take out time. You know, this minority of white folks, of course. What I'm thinking. I'm going to be doing some work, some representative work next month. It's coming up very quick. And as I'm getting my thought together, I'm like, what I would like to see is more of these other groups, out groups that feel they need a voice or whatever, to put a plug in for black folks. Reciprocate black folks' efforts. Recognize that the language in America about inclusion, um, recognizing hate and extreme bigotry, things like that, that wouldn't exist in America unless black folks, unless we had that black experience. Black folks paid the ultimate price over an extremely long period of time, and they're still making their way. And I said I'd like to see other groups do that because to show the source of their awareness, the source of their strength, that their whatever movement it is that they are a part of was born in the black experience in America. Otherwise, it'd be a whole different ball game, whole different show. For any group that found itself on the outskirts of experiencing the American dream, American life in this land. That the black experience over hundreds of years is why they are recognized as being in need and becoming a community and things like that. And I also wish black folks would get the hint. Maybe in some way, some roundabout way. Maybe the black unity, growth, securing control, securing economic interest in America. Maybe that route may be circuitous. It seems to be our experience in America, doesn't it? Um, we eventually get there. If we live, we eventually get there. We need to stop the drugs. I don't care if marijuana is legal in your state. Don't smoke it and don't drink. We're under attack, and we must be sober and aware and vigilant at all times. I can say that from experience. Um, I spent a couple decades here on the planet seeing this, and man, now that my mind is cleared up from drugs and alcohol and stuff, I believe for good. It's like these, looking at these white guys, less than half my age, running stuff on the planet. I'm like, what happened? Well, yeah, I was strung out. I was distracted. I was getting high. Well, those two don't mix with me. If it's successful with you, but I'm not going to advocate any drug or alcohol use, especially for black people. Financial security, get your money in order, and just hang on. We're going through dips and valleys and rhetoric, and people can say stuff. But where I work, I don't see any hesitation in people spending money. It's probably white folks. I'm handling their stuff. Um, uh, if you look up some of the money talks on YouTube, the common theme is America sends its money out and we get stuff back. And that is so true. You know, I'm carrying China, Malaysia, Vietnam, Korea boxes all night long, so I can make ends meet. Does America make anything? I wonder. I don't know. Hey, listen, I'm inspired to do this work overall by a man named Dr. Claude Anderson. I've read 3 of his works. We are in this one again. Today we've been in it for a couple days. Well, we're going to get into Uncle Tom's Cabin real soon. Pretty sure as soon as I exhaust some of my notes here. A Black History Reader, 101 Questions You Never Thought to Ask. We are on page 64, talking about voting here on day 264. I've also read Black Labor, White Wealth. We get information out of here as well. And Dr. Anderson's National Plan to Empower Black America, Powernomics. You can find Dr. Anderson at powernomics.com and here on YouTube. He's all over, but easy to find. Dr. Claude Anderson. Behind me is the hashtag #US2 symbol as I do my Vanna White there on there. You'll find black women discussing, supporting one another. There are some specific issues between black men and women. That's a whole nother level, right? So check them out. That's Facebook. Check out Black Enough, BLAGGENUF, kind of a black Facebook experience. If you cannot find your flavor here on the World Wide Web, then do what I did. Start your own little group and stuff and see if your ticker counts and stuff. I'm not a big social media guy to begin with. This project has some other stuff. Look at day 1 and you'll see me really unload a lot of stuff there. And like I said, we go into Uncle Tom's Cabin. We're almost finished. But get the book. Get this book. This is a very important American treasure. It's you've got 101 questions you never thought to ask about a Black History Reader. Well, get this. It's going to answer a lot of questions about this this racial issue that persists in America. I think we're moving in the right direction overall. Internet, social media, cameras readily available. I even got old school flip phone that's got a camera on it. I could get some evidence. So I think that's helped a lot. It's all hearsay, and we're all speculating. But with cameras, yeah, you see some stuff changing now. So finally, some people being held accountable for some of the crap they've been doing in the world. All right, day 264. Talking about voting very important. I think this weekend, today, Iowa caucuses and stuff. We talk about the 2 major states for voting importance and attention, Iowa and New Hampshire. And that's all you hear about. What did Iowa and New Hampshire do? And even on the voting, the night we vote for the big one in November and all that, all you see is like, Hawaii, Alaska, yeah, but Iowa and New Hampshire, I have no idea why. They're 2 geographically different spaces. I've been back and forth over Iowa many times. Very flat. I've been through that northeastern part of the United States, hills and rocky things. So I don't know if it's what it is. It can't be geographically. But anyway, 2 important states. I mentioned them because they're having steak fries and cooking and all kind of big social events around the Democratic candidates out there, and CNN shows statistics and you know how often they visit and stuff. I understand Elizabeth Warren, she doubled her staff, and she's showing great interest in all that. And the candidates cater to, especially these two states, um, because there is a correlation between the support of these states and people that win elections, with very few exceptions. So something about those areas, maybe you can write me some comments about why they're important. Now, that's not today's subject. A portion of what I said is, it's about support. And we've talked through this year occasionally about how black people have settled for symbolism, civil rights, social integration, two big failures. Well, we tried them, and now we can move to models that are going to bring us closer to securing economic security and inclusion in the American space. But this idea of support, I'll tell you one thing that I bet you Iowa and New Hampshire voters get as they support these candidates, that these candidates then reciprocate that support with following through on whatever promises they've made, uh, religiously. Black people as a group, as Dr. Anderson may agree, and that he's, I think, stated to some degree, is that black people need to be the same way. We need to be a national body securing these promises and have those promises followed through as we send men and women into the political sphere. Very important. Quid pro quo, something for something. Black people are a little slow on getting that, securing that. We've supported, and then this goes even back to what I was talking about for oppressed groups. I bet you we can find examples of black support for these groups. I was thinking about the young white man that shot up the people in church after the prayer service. I'm sure the black folks are like, oh boy, the Lord sent this young white kid with a burden to come pray with us. I bet you they smiled or welcoming. Yeah, they probably felt a little uncomfortable in this new face and all that. But he's like, they pray, and after they pray, all hell breaks loose. They pray, and some of them are, on the list to cross over, right? Right then. But I don't agree with the method at all. But that's what I'm talking about as far as, black people are so, there's one thing, well, there's a couple things, but one thing black people, we're so, a resiliency to overcome and participate and support so much going on, yet we're not reciprocated. And I mean, not the lip service where we can spend our money and resources, but where can we participate in the system? Where can we glean profits, economic benefits? People love our support, and this is a microcosm of what I go through in my workplace. I got to stick with this thing. I could probably get something else and all that, but I need to stick with this. It's a character thing, another long story. But like when I moved out of that position I was at, now I can look back. You know, well, I was just self-motivated. I inserted myself everywhere and made things work. And made things work so smooth for everybody. Oh, and they love to smile, and had access to stuff, you know. But I didn't see any of this. You see, when my white counterparts in that same space perform in that way, they get this. They get buddies and pals with management, upper management, suddenly. Ain't nobody reach out to my black self. It's all right, you know. That's all right. So today is just a short piece on voting. This is question 20. He says, what nuclear option did the 14th Amendment grant black voters? And the 14th Amendment, let's just review it. It just says, when the right to vote at any election for the choice of electors for president or vice president of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of the state, or the members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of the black male. Now, black is in brackets. This amendment was for black folks. This was for the voting. Male inhabitants of such state, being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, are in any way abridged, ellipsis, the basis of representation therein shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21 years of age in such state. And now, if you remember, about a month or so ago, we looked at James Madison's notes on voting and the Constitution. And if you remember 3/5 of a human being discussion, if you remember voting, that the political power of the South, you know, they had those, that they included, it included a black vote, actually. They counted the 3/5 of human beings. It means for every 5 male slaves, maybe, you had 3 votes. That's 3 votes. And so, you know, a slave owner with a big crop of slaves, that one white man could come into the political sphere with that political power. And without, it doesn't matter what those black folks thought. They didn't even know voting probably was going on. You know, so this voting thing was an issue. So, long story short, you got to look at those videos and look at the history of black involvement, and the connections are easy to make. The amendment was made to address this very issue, because now the slaves are emancipated, so now they have at least the one vote. But, you know, even we know by history, look at roots, or even today, impact of gerrymandering, um, resistance at the polls, still it comes up today, 2019. You still have, especially in the Deep South, some issues with the black vote. I'm even starting to rethink. Got off my butt, wanted to participate in the election, Hillary and the Don, and there was some little weird piece of red tape at the poll where I couldn't participate. I forget what it was. It was just another frustrating thing. You know. I'll be more circumspect. You know, and I getting motivated for 2020. We'll see where things lie. So that's this 14th Amendment. Now, the nuclear option is holding these states, holding legislatures accountable. If they're found to be have violated this law, then black folks can go forward. Now, here's the thing: this option's never been used ever. No one's ever been punished. Their representation has never been reduced. We got plenty of complaints and reports and whatnot, but no actual movement. You know, this would be a direct uh, initiative on behalf of black folks, because it's black folks that's happening too. I think the Hispanic population may be getting some of that, some blowback from that as well. You know, so but think about that. Read the 14th Amendment. Go ahead, and Google it tonight, and think about that. That you know, see, and what I said in the description, very short description today, is that black folks, we need to get better at understanding American law, and we need to at least begin posturing as people ready to execute some of these options, these voting and political options. You know, now listen, whatever is on the books for American citizens is accessible to every qualified black person in the United States of America. You know, we need to clean up our minds, focus, and think about what we're doing, what we want, what we're after out of life. I'm not going to hold you hostage. Just short one today. Listen, come back tomorrow. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into and continue our fellowship. I'm Tom Lynn's Nyback. That's day 264. Out of the way, in the bucket. 365 days towards racial change. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.